course, Apple. After almost 2 years of essentially sitting out of the artificial intelligence frenzy, Apple finally made a big splash. The company announcing a slew of AI tools coming to its platforms. Shares are higher this morning and reversing some of the earlier losses that we had seen initially just after the announcements were made during Monday's session, down 2%. So let's get to Yahoo Finance's market domination co-host, Josh Lipton, who has the ultimate guide for all things Apple here. Hey, Josh.
All right, Brad. So I'm going to dig into 3 of the big features consumers are going to be able to take advantage of with Apple's new AI tools. Number 1, Brad, a brand new and improved Siri. Apple sees Siri clearly as your AI personal assistant. Customers can text Siri, and even more than that with these new updates, Siri is expected to anticipate things a human would. For example, it can send the photos you want to your mom, or maybe find recipes for your dinner tonight with the help of a little friend known as ChatGPT. But do not worry, it will ask your permission before including ChatGPT in your queries. Number 2, your notifications get an upgrade. Apple promises its new AI tool, new AI will put your most important notifications at the top. And wait for it, your group messages will be summarized. You no longer have to read 75 messages just to see how your friend's date went last night, Brad. And number 3, Apple will correct your writing, so the new AI tools will proofread, rewrite, summarize your notes, emails, pages, and a lot more. Integrated writing tools will also suggest responses in different tones for messages and emails. But there's a lot that Apple did not mention about these new tools as well. Company did not, for example, specifically say when the ChatGPT integration is going to arrive. It just said it will be before the end of the year. And of course, users will need powerful processors to make all this work. That means you're going to need an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, or an iPad or Mac with that M series chip, Brad.
Well, look, I don't need any more summaries on how friends' dates are going. Judging by all the weddings that I need to go to this year and the past few years, everybody better be done dating. All right, so all these things considered, it's going to be interesting too whether or not there's like a super cycle, consumer demand that comes forward as a result. You just mentioned the iPhones that people would have to have in order to make sure that the operating system actually supports some of these new features too. And it sounds like they're a little bit mixed on the street in terms of some of the initial reviews that we've seen coming out. I saw one earlier today that was looking at in UBS calling this, and they put Apple Intelligence in air quotes. I thought those were fighting words, but I'll leave that up to the street to spar on that too.
On the street, those are fighting words for sure, Brad. You're asking just the right question, because now, how do consumers actually feel about this, right? You got to test drive these features. Do they work as advertised? And then to your point, how many folks feel like, okay, I am really curious, I'm interested, it's enough for me to upgrade? You know, I had Paul Meeks on my show yesterday, so obviously Paul's been covering tech for a long time. He's been investing tech for a long time. I think Paul, and I've known Paul for a while, I think he was kind of cautious and skeptical about whether this really jumpstarts an upgrade cycle. I kind of push back on Paul, and I think maybe what the bulls might say is, you know, I've seen estimates out there, Brad, that something like 40% of iPhone users are on a device that's more than 4 years old. In other words, there's a lot of old iPhones out there, and it might not take that much to get people to upgrade. If you just sprinkle a little AI features in there, I'll give you a new faster processor, you know, better camera, that's what we would all expect come in the fall when Apple doesn't make that announcement in September. Is that enough to jumpstart a cycle? We'll find out.
As I check to see which model I have, I'm pretty sure I'm on the 12 Pro Max. So
it's time, Brad. Come on.
It feels like a personal attack here when they're saying, you guys need these new features. We're looking at you, Brad. Anyway, Josh, we're also watching the reactions from other billionaires out there. Elon Musk calling out Apple.
Drama.
I mean, what's going on here? It's a new partnership with ChatGPT, and he wrote on X, formerly Twitter, that if Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, Apple devices will be banned at his companies. I mean, he's calling it an unacceptable security violation. So how is Apple protecting the data here?
Well, I think a couple points. One is Apple clearly yesterday, a big theme was privacy, right? That was clearly a theme they were hitting. I don't think that's too surprising. If you know Apple, you know that is a core value in Cupertino. Goes back to Steve Jobs. He used to hammer that as well. And that could be kind of a differelliator, right? I mean, they're clearly kind of set themselves apart from the competition. We know privacy, security, Brad, that's something Brad and Josh care a lot about.
We do.
With Elon specifically, I thought that was interesting because his reaction was very fast, very quick, very heated. And I don't know exactly exactly what's going on there. I don't know, Brad, if maybe Elon just sees OpenAI in this point, and it's a little bit like, waving a red flag in front of a bull. Yeah. There's just so much bad blood. Musk has sued OpenAI, which is a company he co-founded. So I don't know, that relationship obviously has gone completely south. Who knows though, how that develops. I know they're kind of fighting words right now with Musk, but what's interesting is you don't know how that develops. Like, for example, Tim Cook now, listen, he's told you I got a partnership with Sam Altman and OpenAI, but you can foresee, as this progresses, you can imagine Apple has partnerships and relationships with all kinds of models. So it'd be OpenAI, maybe Google, maybe Anthropic, and why not Musk as well, who has his own AI startup, XAI.
Or one that just allows users to pick which AI they want to use. I mean, it's really just, to your point, it's just a potential starting point, and really seeing exactly where the uptick is from the amount of consumers that are either willing to pay in or want a free type of experience with so much of the generative AI, at least on the initial outset of what we're hearing, are going to be some of the features here.
I know another interesting question, which is when we talk about the partnerships that came out yesterday, we don't know what the economic relationship is between, let's say, Apple and OpenAI. How's that working? We don't know which way the money is flowing. Is Tim Cook sending a check to Sam Altman? Is Sam Altman sending one to Tim Cook? You could see it if Sam Altman knows, listen, I can't train my models on your data. If I'm not getting the data, maybe Altman thinks, well, at the very least, you can send me a check in the mail. But we don't know yet. I expect someone breaks that news at some point. How exactly the economics of this work?
Absolutely. Josh, fun chat to start off today's show. All things Apple here. Josh Lipton. You can catch him at 3 p.m. Market Domination.